Harlequin presents and HarperAudio present The King's Hidden Heir by Sharon Kendrick, performed by Helen Keeley, and Two Secrets to Shock the Italian by Lynne Graham, performed by Melanie Crawley. The King's Hidden Heir.
For my darling husband, Pete Crone, an exemplar of humour, adventure and romance. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Chapter 1. London. His body was bathed in the sheen of the early morning sun, every sinew washed with pale gold. A powerful thigh spread carelessly over her hip, anchoring her where she most wanted to be. With him, next to him, and at countless points throughout the night, under him. Her body still warm with the aftermath of pleasure, Emerald's gaze drifted over him, drinking in all that hard muscle and marvelling that a man could be so strong and so beautiful.
"I'm not asleep."
His accented voice filtered through the air, and she blushed, unsure of how to respond, because she'd never done anything like this before. Picking up the mechanics of sex was the easy bit. It was the emotional side which was tricky. Would it be so wrong to relay an unarguable fact? She sighed. "That was fantastic."
"Yes, it was,"
he agreed. She stroked her finger over his arm. "Really?"
"Really."
There was a pause while he removed his leg from her body, and suddenly a breath of air rippled in from the open window onto her exposed skin and made her shiver.
"But you should have told me."
She thought about pretending she didn't know what he was talking about, but his tone had suddenly become touched with ice, and instinct warned Emerald that a man like this would have no desire for game-playing. A man like this. What did she know of a man like this? Very little, really, apart from the glaringly obvious. He was a royal prince, a billionaire hunk pursued by just about every woman with a pulse. And yet it had been her he had chosen. It was still difficult to get her head around that. But she hadn't known or cared about his status when she'd first met him, when he'd handed her his exquisite cashmere coat and she'd given him a ticket in exchange, at the gentleman's club, where she put in a few hours here and there to supplement her meagre income. She had just looked into the sapphire glitter of his eyes and totally lost her heart. She hadn't shown it, of course. She wasn't that stupid. "That I was a virgin, you mean?" she ventured cautiously.
"Well, I certainly wasn't referring to my surprise when your debit card bounced," he said wryly.
Emerald wondered whether that was intended to demonstrate just how different their circumstances were, as if he needed to. But none of it was relevant. He'd already explained this wasn't going to morph into a relationship, and she'd told him she didn't care. She'd even convinced herself that she meant it. Because magic didn't come along very often, did it? And when you got the chance, you needed to grab it fast. So she had. She'd had the most blissful night of her life. And now she was going to have to do the most grown-up thing of all, and pretend she didn't want to see him again. Chapter 2. Northumberland. 6 years later. His face stared back at her, and just the sight of it was doing strange things to her heart, twisting it with a pain Emerald hadn't expected to feel. Not after 6 years. Making her mind spin with unwanted images as the screen illuminated his autocratic features. Golden olive skin, and hair as black as a raven's wing. Eyes like splinters of blue glass, courtesy of the powerful Greeks who had invaded his country half a millennium ago. Though his sensual lips owed more to the Italians, who had arrived a few decades later. Feeling as if she'd been punched in the solar plexus, she turned away from the computer as her sister came charging into the small kitchen of the house they shared.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?